Meldyn, and we're with Empowering Eve. And today we're going to hear from Latisha Hardy and Mel Spendlove. They're both entrepreneurs, and Latisha is a dancer, and I can't wait for you to hear their stories.
Let's go meet Tish and Meldyn.
We're so excited that you joined us today. We're hanging out with our girlfriends with Empowering Eve, and a big hot topic right now with women and with teenagers is body image and eating disorders. And 7 out of 10 women, actually 7 out of 10 teens, feel like they don't measure up. Whether or not they're not pretty enough, they're not skinny enough, they're not smart enough. And with Empowering Eve, we're looking to empower teens, we're looking to empower women, just to let you know that you are enough. You don't have to be anybody else. You're perfect the way you are. And we have some stories that we're going to share with you today of some amazing women that have gone through their own journey.
Body image is one of those hot topics, and it's one of the hot button items that you see in magazines. They're always airbrushing women out instead of, really just teaching them how to embrace who they are naturally. So we wanted to take a few minutes and sit down with an expert in the dancing community, and she gets, spoken to about body image. She's had some issues, and we wanted to sit down with Tish Hardy and ask, what does it feel like? Do you ever feel the pressures of trying to have that perfect body? Or do you have people that come to you who are trying to lose weight, they're struggling with their own identity as far as their body, and how do you cope with something like that? Being a dancer and always being in the limelight, and people always watching your body, and you have an amazing figure. Those legs are my goals. I want those legs. But it's hard to imagine somebody as confident and as established as you having a problem with body image or struggling in that area. Can you share something with us that you've struggled with in the past, specifically on your body image?
Yeah, definitely. Well, just for starters, usually people's greatest weaknesses when you want more in life become like your greatest strengths. So when you struggle with something for so long, you either have to choose to accept it or it's going to kill you at the end of the day. And so because it was such a big deal for me, it was something that I just had to kind of work through, and it didn't happen overnight. It was years of struggle and years of acceptance. So I just remember when I was growing up, I was in a community, and I just want to put it out there, I'm not racist at all. My mother's white, but I grew up in an all-white community, blonde hair, blue eyes, just this tiny, skinny little girls, and I thought that was what was supposed to be, that was the norm, right? And so here I am, I've got this thick, curvy body, I can't even help it. Like, I don't even know where to put all these curves, right? And so I never went to any of my high school dances. I didn't even know that I was attractive until I left where I grew up when I was 18 years old. And so I just struggled with trying to fit this tiny little girl mold, and I'm not that person, and I'm never going to be that person. And now at this point in time, I don't want to be that person. So I've really embraced having like a really muscular body, and now that I'm embracing that, I'm realizing that women want that. Like they pay money to have that, and so I've just learned to embrace it. So I was so obsessed with this body image that I had to have, and I was really skinny. I was so skinny. So just so you know, right now I weigh about 150 pounds. When this happened, I was 125 pounds. So this is great. Like, this is fine, and it's healthy, and it's curvy, and there's muscle there. But this at 125 is not a good look on me. I looked like my face was sucking in. People were like, Tish, what's wrong with you? Like, are you sick? And I was like, no, but sick in the head, yes. And so that happened for about a year. And then I realized, number one, I didn't want to do that anymore because it hurts. It really hurts. It hurts your body. It hurts your soul. And it just reiterates the fact that you're not something that you're trying to be. And so I made a promise to myself that anything I put in my body, I either had to work off or deal with. And I did, but I gained like 30 pounds back, or 40. I went up and further than I am right now. And then I hired a personal trainer, and I did a lot of research on nutrition, and I did it the right way. And it took me 5 years to get to this point now. And so if there's anything I can say, if you do want something, number one, don't put like this preconceived notion of what your best body looks like in your mind, because it's going to be different on you, and you really just have to accept that you're the not knowing, the unknowing of what your body is going to look like at its fullest potential, and whatever that is really, really beautiful. And you in your mind can't say, well, I want to look like this picture right here, and it's this, you know, thin girl who's probably carb depleted and water depleted, like, you know, like that she's about to do a fitness show. And so a lot of people think that people look like that every day, and that's not an everyday look. People don't look like that walking around all the time. So I just say, just do it the right way, do it healthy. If it takes you 5 years to get there, if it takes you 10 years to get there, like, it takes you 10 years to get there. Nothing worth having is going to come to you overnight. And it has been a journey, and now I have this little pudge in the front of my stomach, and I still wear my little crop tops, and it's not even a pudge, but it's this little layer of fat, and I love it, and I don't care. And
I'm sorry, where?
I know. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, it's really funny. I have back fat. So I have back fat. That's like my problem area, and I just had a photo shoot. No, it is. It is. Well, when
I've seen her dance before.
So. Okay, when I pinch, my trainer pinches me. My highest fat percentage is on my back,
okay.
And so that's what I mean by that. But I had a photo shoot recently, and you know, I was twisting all kinds of ways, and they were getting back shots, and you can see in the pictures like these little tiny rolls. Like, I can see them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, those are so huge. Like, they just look like whales on the side of my body. But I refuse. None of the pictures I ever put on my website or on nothing is photoshopped.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
it's 100% me. Nothing is photoshopped.
Awesome.
And I made a point, like, I don't want it. So I worked really hard to be in front of a camera the way that I am, and I refuse to have anything photoshopped. Like, my butt is the size that it is. Like, my boobs are the size that they are. My waist is the size that they are. My little fat rolls, you'll go and look at my website and see these little tiny little curves.
And we'll get our
shorts.
you know,
You'll
our
see it.
microphone glass.
It's there.
Micro.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I like it. It's fine. Like, you don't have to be like super tiny to be successful. You know, you don't. You just have to be who you are, and you have to accept and love that. And that has taken me 10 years. So
I love the fact that you said it took you 5 years to get where you are now.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes when people get into the eating disorder cycle, it's like a quick fix. Like, I'll just eat these pancakes, like you said, and so cakes, I'll throw them up or whatever. That's not long lasting. That's not sustainable. But people just want that quick fix. And, you know, didn't you have some statistics about eating disorders?
I do. According to the National Association of Anorexia, 8 million people, that's 3% of the total population, struggle from eating disorders.
Wow.
Men and women as
Yeah.
well. So we don't think of men having that challenge that women have, but they do. And they have, you know, they're being pressured to, you know, look a certain way and be fit and work out. And to me, you know, I think with the way our society is right now, there's always this quick fix. People want a quick fix. They want to take a pill, or they want to go on a program or a diet.
Yeah.
But they're not looking at lifestyle. What is your way of eating as a lifestyle? We're in a Mexican restaurant. We are in Mexico. You know, not the leanest food provided, but we need to learn how to socially eat and how to eat properly, even when you are at a restaurant or Super Bowl Sunday or New Year's Eve parties and so forth. It's a way of life. Eating is a way of life, and it's to sustain your body. So when you see all of these products being pushed, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, and just to spin off of that, I just remember, like, when I made the decision to be healthy, I didn't run away from food, because you have to eat, right? And so I made it a point, like, no matter how many times I failed at eating too much, you have to come back to square one, and you have to try again. Like, and when I say try again, like, I'm supposed to eat this much food, this is how much food I'm supposed to put in my body, and then I need to stop. And then not just like forcing myself to stop where I'm like, you know, having this anxiety attack where, but saying, like, in your body saying, I'm good with this, and in your mind is saying, I'm okay with one cookie. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I failed 100,000 times. It took me 5 years to get to a point where I can sit down at a meal and eat something, even eat something or not good food, right?
Right.
And then say, okay, I'm good. Like, and I can put the rest away. I want it anymore. Like, I can eat 2 pieces of pizza, and legitimately, I don't want to have more than that.
Right.
And it didn't ever used to be that way. So you have to work through those things.
And it's all emotional.
It's a mental, emotional
battle.
process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is no quick fix to that. You have to try and try again. It's just like working out. It's just like going to your career job and getting better at a skill. It takes practice and it takes training. And you have to do it if you want a good life, that you're not obsessing over food all the time. Because I did. My whole life was consumed with when was I going to eat if I was starving myself, or how much, and then like not being able to stop because I wasn't eating, and then this horrid cycle. So
Yeah.
it was just really bad.
Well, I know Mel has experienced, of course, also some struggles with eating, not necessarily an eating disorder, but I know.
I have.
Oh, you have? Okay, so tell us more about that. I didn't know all that.
Yeah, you know, I've had struggles with food my entire life.
Right.
And some of it, well, a lot of it when I was younger, back in the 70s and 80s, you know, they didn't know about food allergies, really. At least my family didn't. I had severe food allergies, food sensitivities, so I threw up all the time.
Wow.
It was just normal for me. I would eat and go throw up. And I did that my whole young adolescent, teenage years. And I was an athlete, excuse me, an athlete. I was a swimmer, so I was just like you, right? I was that athletic, very V-shaped, very muscular, and kind of got made fun of.
Yeah.
Like, why are your legs so big? And because I was bigger than the guys, you know, and they're intimidated by that, you know?
For sure.
And so that was a problem. And then I had coaches that were a couple coaches that I had were obsessed with weight back then. It was a big deal. And so I remember I just have never had a good relationship with food.
Right.
I was afraid to eat. So I would starve myself, not necessarily consciously, but now looking back, I'm like, I was totally doing that. And then I'd get so hungry, I'd eat a big, Western bacon cheeseburger, and then no big deal, I just go throw up. Yeah, and I could just bend over. It was super easy. I still could, but I don't.
Wow.
And so when I got married and I had kids, sorry, my voice is...
Okay.
I purposed to learn about health and nutrition, and I wanted so bad for them to have a different life than me. But I still, the whole time having kids, I struggled. I was sick all the time because I didn't understand. I figured out I was allergic to dairy, and I figured out things along the way, but there was so much more. And but I had stopped the throwing up stuff and all of that, but I was still, I was always fat. My daughter and I went to the gym the other day, Sierra, and we were talking about that, how I was a size 2 at one point. I was 126 pounds, so like you, that's very skinny for me. Like I was almost a 0, and I'm not a size 0 person, and didn't look good, didn't feel good, and I'd look in the mirror and go, I'm fat. And I did that in front of my daughter, and she remembers. And so now I get to go back and help her realize, Mom was just not well in her head. And so when my ex-husband and I split up was when I got really, really skinny, and everything I ate made me sick, literally. And so I, at that point, was like, I hate food. Just give me an IV. I don't even want to eat. Everything makes me feel bad. And that's when I became a size 0.
Wow.
And I would work out. I always worked out. I was a beast at the gym, and I was just this skinny, fit, depleted, dying. I mean, seriously, I was dying. When I finally went to my natural doctor, I was a total basket case, and I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're so depleted. Like I wasn't even absorbing water.
Wow.
I could drink water. She said, you're not even, it's not even working. Like your body has shut everything off. You're not even absorbing anything. So that has been 12 years for me.
Wow.
And I realized at one point that my not eating had become a self-punishment. And I remember vividly the day I was in my kitchen, and I thought, I have this relationship with my body that was not healthy. And I didn't like myself very much at that point in my life. And so I remember I took an apple, and I poured love into that apple. And I thought, I'm going to eat this because I love myself. And I really didn't believe that yet. But it's all about loving your body. So it's not about being skinny because someone's going to love you or being anything like that. It's about when you truly love yourself and you get to that place where I love this body, God gave me this, and I love who I am, and that's a process.
Yeah, it is.
Then you start giving yourself the food that you need. And now I know the foods that I can eat and the foods that I can eat. Praise God. Finally, I am doing that, and I'm finally at a weight that I love, and I'm gonna get fit again and do it the right way. But it's taken me my entire life. I'm 47 years old.
Wow.
And it's been this lifelong journey of just little steps here and there, and then you crash, and then little more steps.
Well, and I think for me, the hardest thing for me has been having the twins, because I never had to struggle with weight. I've always been skinny, and I'm not saying that to brag. I was size 00, and I would go eat a hamburger. And I'd always have my friends be like, "Oh, I hate you."
She was the skinny one.
Yeah, I was the skinny one that you hated. I was, because I'd be in my little bikini and I'd be like, "Oh, I don't diet. I just eat whatever I want." And then,
Okay, I'm so kidding.
It's so true. And everyone would say, "Oh, it's going to catch up with you when you have kids." And I was like, "No." But it's not that I've gotten fat or anything. But it's that, that change that happens when you become a mom.
Yeah.
I think it's something we definitely need to talk about, because motherhood is so precious, and I love my twins. I would do anything for them. And I love, my new curves. I love my new body. But there's times that I'm like, oh, I so wish I could get back into my bikini, and I so wish I had that flat stomach again. And there's some moms that do. I mean, that's great. But after having twins, for me, it's been a new acceptance of who is this new person, and how can I accept this new person without feeling like I have to go back to that old person. And honestly, I didn't really, I loved my body back then, but I was really skinny. So I didn't have the curves, and I was cold all the time. And that's the one thing I'll tell you, is that if I've ever thought about dieting again, I've always said, I don't want to get skinny again because I was cold all the time. That's the one thing. And living in Colorado, I'm really cold all the time.
Yeah.
What is the name of your studio?
Latisha Hardy Dancing Company.
Latisha Hardy Dancing Company. We've been to her studio. She's done workshops for us. An incredible, extraordinary woman. Where can they find your studio so they can go visit you?
It's on 1795 Jetstream Drive, Suite 106, and that's up north off Interquest Parkway and Voyager.
Every day?
Except for Sundays, because I do need a day off.
Right.
So you want to see some dancing? We did some salsa dancing, and it really made me realize I need to get better at my salsa dancing. But you'll love the way Latisha looks. We looked good too, but
Nobody beats how she looks.
Thank you for joining us. We had so much fun with our girlfriend talk, and thank you for listening to Latisha's story and Meldyn's story. And I know you can find us on
Empowering Eve on our Facebook page. Check us out. You can also go to our Instagram, and every week we have a radio show on successradio.us. Just look up Empowering Eve. Follow us and find out more about what we're doing in the community.